In this video, I'm explaining how you can tune your weapons to have the lowest amount of recoil here in Modern Warfare 2. I figured this video would help a lot of you guys out who are struggling at those long range engagements in order to go ahead and drop more kills and increase your KD ratio. So with all being said, the like on this video is going to be 500 likes. And if you guys want to stay up to date with any and all best class setups and tunes, best settings, tips and tricks, or want to be notified with any new updates go live here in Modern Warfare 2, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn those post notifications. Let's go right into it. Alright, now we're going to start off with the M4 here. We're going to use this weapon as a base because you can apply this knowledge to every single weapon here in Modern Warfare 2 and essentially turn it into a laser beam. Now we're going to jump into the firing range with a no attachment M4, but I can go ahead and explain the attachments and tunes you need to go ahead and equip on your weapons in order to reduce the amount of recoil and make them very easy to use at longer ranges. As you guys can see here, the M4's recoil, it's not horrible, it's not uncontrollable to a point where you're going to be completely lost, but we definitely want to tone down the vertical as well as the horizontal and visual recoil so we can essentially laser people across the map. Now, going back to the attachment screen here, I know a lot of this can be overwhelming. I know a lot of things could be confusing because you have to unlock certain attachments using certain guns and do this, there, and that to get actual things unlocked here. But luckily, there's only 3 attachments that you need to focus on to actually reduce the recoil and make things a hell of a lot easier to manage and control here in multiplayer. Now, the first attachment we're gonna take a look at here are gonna be the barrel. Now, the barrels are very important when controlling the recoil and at the same time bumping up the damage range. Now, before you guys go ahead and select a barrel, because I know a lot of this can be confusing because there are a lot of attachments here in Modern Warfare 2, you want to ask yourself, what type of player are you? Are you an aggressive style player? Are you somebody that likes to sit back? Or are you a mix of both? Because typically there are going to be 2 barrels you want to choose from, or if you don't have any of those options, you don't want to run a barrel at all. Now, luckily the M4 is a base model gun that's going to have barrels that all the weapons here in Modern Warfare 2 are going to share. Now, what we're going to see here is we're going to take a look at the 419mm EXF barrel that's going to be bumping up that damage range, hip fire accuracy, as well as bullet velocity. And we're also taking a look at the high tower 20-inch barrel that's going to be bumping up that bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy. These are the 2 types of barrels you want to look at when creating a class setup that you want to reduce the recoil with here in this game. Every weapon in Modern Warfare 2 is going to have some type of barrel that's going to have damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity, or it's going to have a barrel that's going to have bullet velocity, damage range, increased recoil control, or hip fire accuracy. But the importance is looking at the cons here. Now, the cons on the high tower barrel is it's actually going to reduce the movement speed and overall handling of the weapon. If you guys are an aggressive style player, you might want to stay away from this. Now, if you guys are somebody that likes to move around a lot more, you want to go ahead and put on the style of barrel that the EFX barrel is, which is going to have that range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity. You want to stay away at all costs from barrels that are going to be reducing the range. We do not want that to happen. We do not want to have a slower time to kill here. We're looking at bumping up that recoil control as well as the range at the same time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and build the EXF barrel here, but it's honestly going to work better with the high tower. But again, I'm more of an aggressive style player, so you can pick and choose on how you want to do so. Now, we're going to select this barrel here, and we're going to go to the tuning. Now, we're going to go ahead and max out the damage range. The reason we want to go ahead and max out the damage range is because we want to have the fastest time to kill, and obviously using the least amount of bullets to go ahead and get yourself a kill here in Modern Warfare 2. Now, also, we are going to be bumping up that aim walking movement speed here. This is going to be important so you can essentially walk around aim down sights without actually having to worry about running into somebody at close range that you're not prepared. Whenever you're going to turn a corner, you can literally walk around making sure that you're ready to win each and every gunfight here. And that's how we're going to set this barrel up. Now, if you guys are, slower type of players that you don't want to be running around as much, we can go over to the high tower barrel, and we're going to go ahead and do essentially the same thing. Is we're going to max out that damage range, and we're also going to go ahead and max out that aim walking speed just so we can use this weapon a little bit easier at close range. It's not going to be the best as the EXF style barrels here in Modern Warfare 2, but at the same time, we're still going to have a little bit of an increase at those close range engagements, but at the same time, we're still going to be able to take people out very easily at longer ranges here. Now, for the next attachment, we're taking a look at the muzzle. Now, the muzzles are not nearly as confusing as the barrels, but you're still going to have to ask yourself that same important question: what type of player are you? Are you somebody that likes to go ahead and run and gun, get by the enemy team, build up a streak, or sit back and pick people off? Now, for the muzzles, there's going to be only two types of muzzles you want to go ahead and choose from, because these are going to be what's available on every single weapon here in Modern Warfare 2. Now, on the M4 and a majority of the other ARs, you're going to have the Hairbringer D20 or some type of Hairbringer D20 variation under the muzzle category. You want to specifically look for a muzzle that's going to have that sound suppression as well as that damage range, because just like with controlling recoil, we want to kind of double up on that and bump up the range while we're at it. Now, if you do not want to go ahead and run a sound suppressor on your weapon, maybe you're someone that likes to sit back behind the spawn and pick people off, or if you don't, like to run and gun, you want to go ahead and take a look at the FTAC Castle comp, which is going to be going ahead and bumping up that horizontal as well as vertical recoil control. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tune both these attachments here, but we're going to start off with the Castle comp. This is actually what you're going to notice a huge difference when controlling recoil. Now, we're going to go ahead and select this. Now, for the tune on here, you want to specifically tune the gun kick control. This is going to be that visual recoil that we're all annoyed with and we don't like here in Modern Warfare 2. When you go ahead and max this out, your weapon is going to be incredibly easy to use at longer ranges. So we're going to go ahead and take advantage of that. We are also going to go ahead and bump up that aim down sight speed here. We do not want to turn our weapons into slugs when actually going ahead and reducing and increasing the amount of range and recoil we have. We still want to have a weapon that we can run around with if we need to, and so we're not stuck aim down sight 99% of the time, because let's be honest, nobody really likes to play like that. So that's how I would tune the FTAC Castle comp or any of the muzzles here that's going to have horizontal as well as vertical recoil control. Look out for that. Now, you guys are more a aggressive player, likes to go ahead and get behind the enemy team. You guys can put on a Hairbringer D20 suppressor style on your weapon, and we're going to go ahead and tune this by going ahead and bumping up that bullet velocity and also bumping up that aim down sight speed. You're going to see here that recoil and range is going to be drastically improved, but we're going to suffer slightly under the handling department. Now, we're going to go ahead and put back on the FTAC Castle comp, because again, this video is about controlling recoil. This is going to make the biggest difference here. So make sure you guys go ahead and max out these stats with this attachment. Now, finally, we're going to go over to the Underbarrel, which is going to wrap up this entire recoil controlling method. This is going to essentially smooth out your recoil pattern so you don't have to worry about a thing. You can quite literally hose the trigger down and pick people off across the map. Now, I like to go ahead and put on the Demo IMP44. This is going to be an attachment that you have unlocked on 99% of weapons that you already have done here in Modern Warfare 2. That's why we're going to start off with this, because it's going to be an early unlock attachment. But you want to make sure you are looking for attachments that are going to be bumping up that recoil stabilization. That's going to be very important here. The cons are going to be completely irrelevant. We do not care about aim down sight speed or walking speed, because we're going to tune all those cons out. Now, we're going to equip this, and for the tune here, we're going to max out that aim walking speed, as well as we're going to max out that recoil stabilization, so we can go ahead and have a very easy to use and also smooth handling weapon here in Modern Warfare 2. Super easy to go ahead and control. You can do this on 99% of weapons here in Modern Warfare 2 that have the Demo IMP44 grip, or a variation of the Demo IMP44 grip on your class setup. Now, you guys can look at something like the Shark Fin if you don't have it unlocked. You can also go ahead and look at something like the Phase 3 grip if you don't have that unlocked. But all these are going to essentially be fantastic to go ahead and choose from when trying to control the recoil here. Now, once you guys have these three attachments pretty much mastered here in Modern Warfare 2, you can go ahead and kind of have free realm on building a class setup that's going to be best suited for your needs. Now, personally, if it was me and I'm trying to control as much recoil as possible, I'm going over to the optics here, and I'm going to select the Corona Mini Pro, which is essentially going to be a blue dot, which is going to allow us to have a clean optic picture, very easy to see and take people out at longer ranges. So we're going to go ahead and equip this, and for the tune on this optic, we're going to leave the eye position the exact same how it is. I like to have it by default. Far is also a good option. I definitely would not go ahead and put it close to you, but I think that default is going to be where a lot of people are going to enjoy. Now, what you want to do here is obviously max out that aim down sight speed, because we do not want to have a slower aim down sight. We do not want to slow anything down unnecessarily. So we're going to go ahead and tune that out on this attachment. And then finally, you guys can mess with the stocks here, or you guys can go ahead and mess with the rear grips. Now, personally, all these attachments are going to be fine and dandy here. You guys can go to the rear grip. You guys can put on any grip that can control the recoil. You guys can also go ahead and compensate and run a phantom style grip, or a grip that's going to be bumping up that sprint to fire speed or aim down sight speed. All these are going to be great options. If you guys are more run and gun aggressive style players, you can select a phantom grip style on your weapon, which you can go ahead and tune right here. You want to bump up that sprint to fire speed as well as that aim down sight speed. You guys can go ahead and run and gun a little bit easier. But if you're strictly trying to go ahead and reduce the recoil, you guys want to run some type of grip that's going to be controlling the recoil here in Modern Warfare 2. So we're going to go ahead and put on the ZX grip, and we're going to bump up that sprint to fire speed, and also we're going to bump up that recoil steadiness. So we can go ahead and have a very easy to control weapon that's essentially going to be a laser beam. Now, once we went ahead and pretty much created this class setup, you can jump into the firing range, and you're going to be very happy with an assault rifle as a relatively quickly aim down sight time that's essentially going to have very, very little recoil, as you guys can see here. As compared to the default M4, this is going to be significantly easier to control. I'm literally controlling nothing here, letting the gun do its job, and I'm able to just go ahead and beam players across the map, or these targets here in the firing range. And that's how you guys can essentially tune your weapons here in Modern Warfare 2 to have no recoil. You can use this on any weapon in the entire game and start dominating. So with all being said, like on this video is going to be 500 likes. And if you guys are enjoying the content of the channel and this video did help you guys out, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn those post notifications. It's been your boy Ears, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.